How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of our more popular community questions posts that we had in the past, as I feel like there's a lot of answers in these that I can actually go back and sort of redo some of them and include some of the answers that didn't get involved. A lot of you guys comment on these videos and a lot of them really don't get covered, as I can only fit so many in the actual video. So what I've decided to do is go back to the ones that were really popular with you guys, ones that you really enjoyed, and go back through the comments and maybe do a second part to these. So the community post that I am revisiting today is the one that said, what are some bad habits you have picked up while playing in RuneScape? For example, I struggle to not try to 4-tick auto attack even when I'm using range. I remember reading through this post and there were some amazing answers in here, and there were some of them that was absolutely hilarious as well. But we're going to go through, find some comments that we didn't include last time and talk about them today. I hope you enjoy. If you do, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you enjoy this style of video, there's a full playlist of them called community videos, so have a look at that. Anyway, let's get going. Okay, so the first comment says, I've gotten used to Revolution and I'm too lazy to learn manual. So this isn't too bad of a bad habit, to be honest. I'm sure it's a habit that a lot of people do have, and honestly, you don't need to learn manual. And I've actually had quite a lot of comments lately on videos where I've mentioned this in the past, and people don't seem to believe me when I say it, but you do not need to have full manual to do endgame PVM. You don't. It does help. It helps quite a bit in certain situations, but on Revolution, there's absolutely ways that you can get around it. I've seen people doing like Telos high in rage on Revolution, not Revolution to the point where it's automatically doing the thresholds as well. Like, you want to be able to use your thresholds when you want to use them, but your basic abilities, you can absolutely have Revolution doing that. Now, by Revolution plus plus, I'm assuming he means having his thresholds at the beginning as well and his sunshine and stuff, but this is something that you kind of want to move away from, definitely. But for the players who are literally sat there thinking, I need to learn full manual so I can do endgame, and all you're using is Revolution on your basic abilities and then using your thresholds and ultimates when you choose, you're in a perfectly fine position. Like, I know plenty of people who do this. There's someone who has around about 11k at AOD kills, Ruby. If you're around, you can maybe comment your name down below and let people know that you've finished almost every log and every single boss towards endgame, and you have way more PVM experience than I do, and it's all on Revolution. So you can definitely still do endgame with Revolution, so don't feel like this is a bad habit. Revolution plus plus, if that means that you're using all your thresholds and stuff, yes, you want to try and move away from that, absolutely. But if you can just move your thresholds and your ultimates out of Revolution and use those yourself, which isn't too difficult to do because you probably need about maybe 10 keybinds or something, then you're absolutely fine, and there's ways around stuff. If anyone's interested, let me know, and I may make a video on Revolution endgame bossing just to prove a few points. I know it may not be the most popular video, but if it helps people out in understanding that yes, you can still try and tackle the endgame bosses on Revolution with just your basics, then hell, we can go ahead and do that. Full manual does help by quite a lot in certain situations on timing, making sure you don't miss defensives at right times, all that sort of stuff, but you can definitely get used to it and manage it and learn when you need to time to use your defensives and that, just to make sure that's done. You may need to go a little bit early, you may need to go a little bit late, just to last second tick it in. Like, you'll get used to it, trust me, it's something you can do. The next comment says, if I don't like a skill, it demotivates me, and instead of finishing my last two skills, dungeoneering and farming, for max, I'm back AFKing archaeology for a third spear tip. This is actually kind of a good one, because while it is not a bad habit, but it is a habit that is bad in a way that if you really want to max, like if your goal right now is I need to max, but every time you log on, you look at that and you go, oh, I don't want to do it, and you sort of sidetrack yourself, then yes, I guess you could see this as a bad habit. But in general, to be honest, it kind of makes me happy a little bit to hear that you're doing the stuff that you enjoy doing. And like, even though you maybe feel a little bit bad when you're doing it, like, oh, I should just do a dungeoneering, man, you just play the game how you want to play it. If you're enjoying archaeology, you're getting all the spear tips, then go ahead and get them, because that's what you enjoy doing. But at the same time, the solution that I would probably have for you is farming is something that you can do very, very passively, like in the way that you could either AFK at Turoths, which would get you to 99 probably eventually, but it'd be slow. But if you have anything on the side when you're not actually doing archaeology, you could AFK that. But if you don't like doing that, then obviously you've just got your farm runs that you need to do here and there. When I did farming, I just did trees, I did nothing else. Now personally, I don't know anything about player-owned farms at all, so that might be the best way to go if someone in the comments can let him know. But at the same time, I literally just planted trees and I only checked them once a day. What I would do is I would log on, I would check my trees and replace them, and then that would be it for farming that day. Eventually I would get there, and that's kind of just the way I did it. If you have bonus experience, dump it into farming, get it over and done with. And I think checking all of the tree patches like just once a day is like 5 to 10 minutes work at the most. So what I would say is, before you log off at the end of the day, just make sure that you have a preset loaded and like your character is ready. And then when you log on, you won't feel demotivated because you don't have to get ready, you don't have to prepare yourself. And when you log in and see that your character is ready to just go and do that quick 5-minute farm room, you can log in and you'll just do it. You'll just see that all the stuff's in your inventory and you'll just go and do it. And while you're doing that, just plan your day out. Just plan, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go do some archaeology because that's what I want to do. It's fine. And then the only thing I could suggest for dungeoneering is, because one, I hate dungeoneering so much. You could either do elite dungeons if you enjoy them, or I don't know, you could just maybe dump loads of lamps into it. But hell, if you're that close, then maybe it is worth just grinding out. Getting max done, you'll feel more free, I suppose, at the end of the day. But I completely understand where you're coming from. And if you enjoy archaeology, you shouldn't feel bad for doing that instead. It's your account, it's your game, you want to enjoy yourself. Don't feel like you have to do stuff. It's not a second job. Just go ahead and just do what you want to do. But like I say, you could do that with your farming. Make sure that your character's ready to do what you need to do that day when you log off. So when you log in, it doesn't feel like you've got to do anything. You don't have to motivate yourself. You're already there. Just go and do it anyway. And then if you do enjoy PvM, just do some elite dungeons, because at least you'll enjoy the experience that you get, even if it is a little bit slower than if you did it the normal way. The next comment is from Jam, and you say, manually clicking my thresholds or defense abilities while using Revolution. The only keybinds I use are my prayers and resonance. Also, look at the dwarf camping with the occasional vigor switch. Just wait until I get the look of the dwarf relic and can camp vigor or ring of death. Okay, so this one I'm going to say is kind of a bad habit. A lot of people click abilities, a lot of people click prayers, but if you feel like you can use keybinds, because you said the only keybinds you use are your prayers and resonance, and you can kind of use keybinds, you should really just try to keybind stuff, even if you're just going to stick to Revolution. Like I said earlier, Revolution is fine, but if you're using your defense abilities and your thresholds and you're clicking those, trust me, it will make your life so much less stressful to be able to just press them. It just will. That's just how it works. So I would suggest that you do try this out. Just keybind some of the stuff. Maybe keybind them one at a time, and then when you're comfortable adding that one, then add one more as well. I went down the different path where I keybound everything straight away, and I had to relearn everything all in one go. So maybe it will be a good idea for you to do it like little bits at a time. Just add them in. You've got your prayers, you got your resonance. Maybe next add like your anticipate and your freedom as a keybind, and then maybe after that you can start adding your thresholds like wild magic and asphyxiate or whatever you use. Probably snapshot and rapid fire. Most people use range, right? But the only tips I could really give you to help make this like easier is when you set up action bars for range and magic, make sure the abilities that do the same thing are lined up with each other. So snapshot and wild magic are on the same keybind, asphyxiate and rapid fire are on the same keybind. It will make learning stuff like this a hell of a lot easier. I'm sure you've already got that set up so that they're in the same place when you click stuff. It's probably already done like that, but just keep that when you transfer over to using keybinds as well. You should definitely try this. If you don't use keybinds for things like thresholds and defensives, it will make your life a lot easier. It also makes it so that you don't misclick, and you can also pay attention to what you're doing in the actual boss fight rather than looking down and seeing where to click. Now, I know this works for a lot of people, and I'm not saying you have to not click whatsoever. A lot of people I know do actually click a lot of stuff. I know someone who literally plays on full manual and they click most of their stuff. They click for soul split flicking, which is absolutely insane to me. They also do more DPS than I do, and they're not using keybinds for most of their things. So, I mean, it's definitely something you can do and you can be good at, but it's definitely worth maybe just taking that little step and just trying it out. If it's something that you can get used to, then it will help you out in the long run. As for the look of the dwarf camping, it's fine. It's fine. If you don't feel like you need the Ring of Death camp right now, then don't panic about it. As long as it's not costing you an absolute fortune. But in that case, you definitely want to start just camping the Ring of Death, even if it just means you don't wear your look of the dwarves. Obviously, you want to wear that like right at the end of a kill anyway. So if you can get yourself in that habit, then you might want to do that. If it's costing you a fortune, it's time to make that switch. Our next comment says, training all the fast skills to 99 just to end up with all the slow skills later. This actually is a bad habit. You don't want to do this. You want to balance stuff out. Of course, if you want to rush and get as many 99s as you can, that feels good. It feels great. Like you can rush through, do all the super fast stuff. But the only problem is, when you do get towards the end, if you want to get to max, you're going to have construction, you're going to have farming and rune crafting and divination, all these things that you've not done. And these are things that you can, for the most part, do bits here and there to get you along the way. For example, with divination, you've got your caches. You don't want to miss those. If you hate divination, which honestly most people do, you do not want to miss your caches. Get those done. They can actually carry you all the way to 99, I do believe. And then rune crafting is something you kind of just want to do like a little bit here and there. When I did it, I sat down and I did it all in one chunk because I left it right to the end as well. I hated that last, like, that must have been weeks of me just sat at the freaking RuneSpan, just doing that, watching a series on Netflix, like a full series, maybe even 2, I think it was, to get through it. Of course, farming is the same as divination. You want to do it just little bits here and there, like I mentioned in the previous part. Just do like 1 tree run a day or something. If that's all it takes, just literally do 1 tree run a day. It's better than doing nothing. Take you 5 minutes, and eventually you will get to 99. However, putting them all off and leave them to the end, you'll do what I did with max. I really wanted to get max when I decided I was going to go for it. I decided that's what I was going to do, but I made this mistake myself. I did all of the stuff I wanted to do first. I was like, yeah, this is great. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving the grind. I'm getting all this done. I'm getting this done, and I'm just getting so close. I've only got like 5 skills left, and I looked at what those 5 skills were, and I put max off for so long. I was like, frick it, nah, it's fine. I'll just spend my life running from the troll him teleport all the way to God Wars 1 just so I can do next, rather than using the boss portal by getting 5 more skills up, because I didn't want to do runecrafting, I didn't want to do divination, I didn't want to do construction, which I don't know if it's changed now with the new portables, but back then it was absolutely pain. It was like carpal tunnel in a box. Eventually, I did get it done, of course. I just sort of put myself through that pain, but I had the time to do it, so it was okay. But if you are going to max and you are someone who is doing this, I would suggest balancing stuff out. Just allocate an hour here and there to do the stuff that you don't want to do, or set stuff up, like I said, with farming and stuff, where you just do a little bit each day. Just do a little bit. You don't have to do loads, just do a little bit. And then that way, when you do get to the end, and these are the ones that are left, you won't have as far to go. I think I had about 55 farming when I had 3 skills left. And farming was about level 55. It was ridiculous. I don't know why I put it off. Every time I looked at it, I thought, nah, I'll set that up later. I'm sure it'll be fine. And then I realized that farming was actually kind of a time-gated skill, because there wasn't really many ways that you could get experience out of it apart from like time allocated stuff. And that it locked my account up by a long time. But anyway, try and just balance stuff out. Pay attention to what makes sense to do, and if it's stuff that you can do here and there for the skills you really don't want to do, then do those, because at least you're not spending hours and hours sat doing the same thing. You can just do a little bit here, a little bit there, and then eventually, when you do have to commit to just getting those done, you don't have to spend anywhere near as long. The next comment is from Insomnia, and he says, forgetting to not use very powerful abilities right when Araxi is going to web shield. Same for when Virago is going to reflect. So basically, killing yourself, or at Virago, I believe it's killing someone else. But either way, you don't want to do this, because it will insta-kill yourself, especially at Araxi. That's where I've got the experience from. And this is a bad habit to have, like it really is. I assume Insomnia does the exact same thing as me. He's probably done the boss enough times to the point where he's got a feeling for when the special attacks are about to happen. The only problem is you can't decide what special attack it's going to be. You can't know what special attack it's going to be. You can kind of just know that it's likely not going to be the last one that they've just done. I believe sometimes that he can reuse the ability, but whether that's intended or not, I don't know. But either way, there is a set amount of attacks between each special attack that he does. However, off the top of my head, I don't know it. I've done about nearly 2,000 Araxo kills, I think, but either way, I still don't know what this number is, because I know when it's coming in my sort of head. Like, I've got a feeling it's going to be now. I know when to use Anticipate, I know when to use Freedom. The only problem with this is Anticipate and Freedom does not help when it comes to using an SGB spec on the Araxo web. If you do that, you're dead. The way I do it, because I use magic, is I will charge a detonate or something, or throw a wild magic, and as soon as I release it, he'll web and I'm dead. So this is a really bad habit to have. You want to count the attacks, you really do. If you can get in the habit of counting how many attacks he's got, or get yourself in a different habit, which would be when there is a special attack due, just click off him for a second. Use your Anticipate, click off him, and wait for what it is. The only problem with that is, if you're bothered about kill times, if you're bothered about getting through without waiting and wasting DPS, then you don't want to click off the boss and stop attacking. So if you know when it's about to come, then that helps even more. But you definitely want to try and do something about it to not kill yourself over and over again at Araxi, because it does hurt a hell of a lot. Especially when he says using powerful abilities. I know full well he means using things like the Seren Godbow spec, which will insta-kill yourself almost every single time, probably no matter what the enrage is, as it hits way too high not to. The amount of times I have to panic, put my shield on and use res and reflect and whatever the hell else I need to do is just way too much of this boss, and it stresses me out, it gets you killed, it loses a lot of money. It's definitely a habit that you kind of want to shake at some point. But either way, Insomnia, thank you for sharing, because this did actually make me laugh by quite a lot. I can relate to this way too much. Alright, so this next comment is one that just made me laugh. It's not necessarily something that I can give advice on, but it just made me laugh, so I thought I'd share it to share it with you guys as well. Larmidal says, sometimes I turn around my character with my mouse when I do a hurricane. So I assume what they mean by this is with the hurricane ability on melee, the one where your character spins, they're either moving the camera around by holding the scroll button and then dragging it, or they're just sort of kind of flicking the mouse around the character, which makes me laugh because there's so many little things that people do like this that no one else would know about because it's the camera. So the character does the exact same thing, but this would be funny to see. I actually think that's brilliant. Imagine if you were streaming as well. That would be like, I don't know, it'd just be funny to see every single time. Is there anyone else in the comments that are watching this video? Let me know. Is there anything else that you guys do that's similar to this sort of thing? Because I know a lot of people do it. Like, there's definitely some people that do stuff like this, and I'd love to hear it. It just gives me a little bit of a laugh. The next comment says, mine is when I die, I leave all supplies dropped from my yak at death's office. For God's sake, I go rage blind, I think. So this is actually something that I've been doing for so long, but it's not because I go rage blind or anything. It's just because I had no idea they even changed it. It used to be that you just left all of your loot where you died. So if you're in an instance and you died, your yak would drop all the loot there, and then you could never go back and get it because when you rejoin the instance, it wasn't the same instance. So like, it's just gone. It's gone forever. So I actually didn't know this for the longest time until I was streaming and someone said, you know it's all changed now and all the loot just goes on the ground at Death's office. One, why didn't they just send it to our banks? Please just send it to our banks. There's no reason to make us pick stuff up after we've reclaimed it. That's just a time freaking drainer thing. But at the same time, it's still a good change because at least we can get our stuff back. But a lot of people don't know this, and I'm going to put this in here because a lot of people do not know this, and I know they don't, because every time I die, I end up getting like back twice as many rocktails and like brews because there's usually someone else there, and they usually leave their stuff on the ground. There's always rocktails, there's always sailfish, there's always sourdough brews. Those brews are so expensive. Make sure you pick up your loot when you die at deaths. If you have a yak full of sourdough brews, damn, that is a lot of money. You do not want to leave that on the ground. But yeah, this is definitely a bad habit. I completely agree. This is definitely one, because if you do this, you're going to be losing a lot of money that you didn't need to lose. Death costs are high enough already. Pick your damn food up off the ground. Pick your supplies up. Do not leave them. Don't forget, because I'll be there picking them up. I'll be there. I'll be waiting for you to leave it so I can pick it up. Alright, let's make this our last one. The next comment says, right-clicking on nothing. I picked this up way back when I was training smithing to unlock invention. I kept right-clicking under myself to see if there was anyone there. This is something that I do as well, and it's actually kind of infuriating sometimes. I don't know why I do it, and it bugs me the most when I'm streaming. I'm sure some of you guys have noticed this. I have a massively bad habit of right-clicking random places on the screen when I'm in between doing actions that don't need any input. I always need to be putting some input into the game, and right-clicking on the screen somewhere is something that I kind of like, I'm addicted to doing. And now if you guys have not noticed this, I hope it doesn't sort of stress you out now when you're watching me on stream, but you'll see me doing it. For example, when I use asphyxiate, I'll right click on the screen because my character just stood there doing nothing. I'll right click, or I'll move my camera side to side, or any little thing. It's kind of like fidgeting, but I have to put some input into the game to know that it's responding and get this. I don't know if it comes from playing MOBAs in the past, but it could do. I really don't know where it comes from. But you say that you picked this up while you're smithing to see if there was anybody underneath you. Now, I wonder if yes, you were checking if anyone was there, but were you doing it for the same reason as me? You felt like you needed to have some input going into the game to get sort of like a response from it, maybe? I don't know. Let me know if you see this video. I know it was a month ago that we did this as we're coming back to this post, but if this is true, just have a think. Let me know what you think, because I'd be very interested to know if that comes from the same sort of thing of needing that, like, not reassurance, but just knowing that the game is getting some sort of input from you and you're getting a response back from it. I don't know. But yeah, I'm sure plenty of you guys will now pull me on this on stream, but it is something that, yeah, I can't shake it. I'll always do it, and even though half of the time I don't know I'm doing it, in the back of my mind I can see myself right clicking and I can see myself dragging my camera side to side, and it stresses me out so damn much. Alright guys, that was going to be our last one, as the video is getting quite long again. If you enjoyed this, let me know, and then that way I can actually go back and check out some of the past posts as well. And also, I did put a post up recently asking you guys to give any suggestions for any future community question videos you may like to see. So if you're interested in that, go and check where that is on the community section on my channel and leave some comments there as well. There is a lot of them, and I know some of them are absolutely brilliant, so I will be using those in the future. Of course, I still have plenty of ideas for videos, but it does help when you guys give these questions, because I know you guys really enjoy this series, and I really enjoy making this series as it's an easy video to make, but I also get to include you guys in my videos. But eventually the questions are going to slow down and run out. Like, I've got plenty in my mind at the moment, but damn, they are going to run out quickly, as these videos can be used very, very quickly. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Thank you all to my channel members. I really do appreciate the extra support that you guys provide. Your names will be on screen right now, of course. If anyone else is interested in joining the channel members and seeing what perks you can get, as it isn't just getting your name on screen, then do click on the join button by the subscribe button, and it will show you what perks you can get. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.